She wasn't supposed to touch him. Not in front of his fiancée. Not in a room full of armed men. But when the words "he dies tonight" whispered through the phone in her pocket, silence stopped being an option. The ballroom felt wrong the moment she stepped inside. Too bright. Too loud. Too dangerous. Crystal chandeliers glittered overhead. Powerful people laughed too easily. Men who looked harmless stood too still. Servers moved fast, eyes down, pretending not to hear anything that mattered. Naya did the same. Don't stand out. Don't listen. Don't exist. That was how you survived places like this. She approached the long table everyone avoided. Guards flanked it, faces blank, hands never far from their jackets. At the head sat the groom. The most feared man in the room. He didn't look dangerous, that was the unsettling part. Calm, controlled, perfectly composed. Even seated beside his elegant fiancée, he carried the kind of authority that made the air feel heavier, like the room bent around him without permission. Naya set the champagne flutes down carefully. Her phone vibrated. Once, she ignored it. It vibrated again, longer this time. Keeping her face neutral, she shifted the tray and glanced down. The screen was already recording. Her stomach dropped. A man's voice whispered through her earpiece, low, urgent. Change of plan, the poison's too slow. Naya froze. He leaves alive, we fail. Her fingers went numb. The voice continued. After the engagement toast, he's exposed. We take him before midnight. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't rich people drama. This was an execution. Her eyes lifted without permission. The groom was smiling now, leaning toward his fiancée as cameras flashed, polished, untouchable, completely unaware the room he ruled had already turned against him. That was when she learned his name. Kyung Min. Walk away. That was what she was supposed to do. She was nobody, a waitress in a borrowed uniform, drowning in bills, invisible by design. If she walked away now, no one would blame her, no one would even notice. Her phone vibrated again. Do it clean, no witnesses. Her chest tightened. If she stayed silent, he would die. If she spoke up, she would die. There was no safe choice. The music softened, glasses lifted, the host stepped forward to begin the toast. Time was running out. Naya moved before fear could stop her. She stepped out of line. Gasps rippled through the room as heads turned. Guards reacted instantly, hands moving, bodies shifting, but chaos beat them by half a second. Naya dropped the tray. Glass shattered across the floor. And before anyone could grab her, before anyone could stop her, she reached for Kyung Min's collar and kissed him. Hard. The room exploded. Shouts, chairs scraping, weapons half drawn. Kyung Min stiffened, then his eyes widened. Not in anger. In understanding. Because in that reckless public kiss, she had just warned him without saying a word. She had saved his life. Or destroyed her own. And as his guards closed in around her, only one question remained. Would the most dangerous man in the city protect the woman who exposed the betrayal? Or silence her forever? The kiss lasted 3 seconds. The consequences would last much longer. Kyung Min's hand found her wrist before she could pull away. Not rough, but absolute. His grip said, "Don't move without making a sound." The room had gone silent in the worst way. The kind of silence that came before violence. Naya's heart slammed against her ribs. She could feel every eye on her. The fiancé's shock, the guard's fury, the guests' hungry curiosity. She had just committed social suicide in front of Seoul's most powerful people. Worse, she disrespected a man who made people disappear for less. Kyung Min stood slowly. He didn't let go of her wrist. His expression was unreadable, controlled, dangerously calm, but his eyes, dark, sharp, calculating, were scanning the room like a predator sensing blood in the water. He knew. Somehow, impossibly, he understood this wasn't some crazed confession or jealous sabotage. This was a warning. Everyone out, he said quietly. The room didn't move. His voice dropped lower. Now. Chairs scraped, whispers erupted. Guests scrambled toward the exits like rats abandoning a sinking ship. Even the photographers fled, cameras forgotten. Only the guards remained. And the fiancé. Yura rose gracefully, her beautiful face a mask of ice. She stepped forward, heels clicking against marble, and stopped inches from Naya. You just humiliated me, Yura said softly, in front of everyone. Naya couldn't breathe. Do you know what happens to women who touch what's mine? Before Naya could answer, Kyung Min spoke. Leave us. Yura's eyes widened. Kyung Min. I said leave. It wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. Yura's jaw tightened, but she turned and walked toward the door, spine rigid with barely contained fury. She paused at the threshold, glancing back with a look that promised retribution. Then she was gone. The ballroom felt bigger now, emptier. More dangerous. Kyung Min finally released Naya's wrist. She stumbled back, hands shaking, but he didn't follow. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, studying her like a puzzle he couldn't quite solve. You're not one of mine, he said, not a question. Naya shook her head. Then why would you risk your life to warn me? Her throat felt dry, the phone in her pocket felt like a bomb. I heard, her voice cracked. She forced herself to continue. I heard men talking through my phone. They said you'd be dead before midnight. Silence. One of the guards stepped forward, a tall man with a scar across his jaw. Park Di-hyun, she'd heard someone call him. She could be lying, Di-hyun said coldly. This could be the distraction. Kyung Min raised one hand. The guard stopped immediately. Show me the phone. Naya's hands trembled as she pulled it from her pocket. She unlocked it, opened the recording app and held it out. Kyung Min took it, listened for 10 seconds, 20. His expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air around him. Something deadly. He handed the phone to Di-hyun. Trace the signal, find everyone on that call. Then his gaze returned to Naya, and for the first time she saw something beyond control. Curiosity, calculation, and perhaps just barely respect. You just made yourself very valuable, he said quietly, or very expendable. He stepped closer. Which one depends entirely on what you do next. Naya's breath caught. Did you recognize any of the voices? She hesitated. Because she had. One voice sounded exactly like the man standing 3 feet to Kyung Min's left. So who could she trust, and who wanted her dead for knowing too much? Naya's eyes flicked to the guard on Kyung Min's left. Young, clean-cut, perfectly loyal on the surface. She'd heard that voice before, on the recording, calm, clinical. After the engagement toast, he's exposed. Her stomach twisted. If she accused him now, and she was wrong, she'd die. If she stayed silent, Kyung Min might die instead. Her voice failed her. Kyung Min watched her carefully. He saw the hesitation, the fear. He saw exactly where her eyes had landed. Take her to the East Wing, he told Di-hyun. Keep her isolated, no communication, no visitors. Di-hyun nodded sharply. And if she runs? She won't. Kyung Min's gaze locked with Naya's. Because she's smart enough to know that outside these walls, she's already dead. The words hit like ice water. He was right. Whoever orchestrated the assassination attempt had seen her face, seen what she did. By now they knew she had the recording. Running would only speed up the inevitable. Di-hyun gripped her arm, not gently, and led her toward a side exit. Naya glanced back once. Kyung Min stood motionless in the center of the empty ballroom, surrounded by shattered glass and abandoned champagne. He looked like a king surveying a battlefield. And she had just declared which side she was on. The East Wing was beautiful in the way prisons could be. Marble floors, silk curtains, a 4-poster bed that probably cost more than her yearly rent. But the door locked from the outside. And the windows didn't open. Naya sank onto the edge of the bed, adrenaline finally crashing. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. What did I just do? She kissed a mafia boss, exposed a conspiracy, painted a target on her own back. And now she was trapped in a gilded cage, waiting to see if she'd be protected or eliminated. A soft knock interrupted her spiral. The door opened. A woman entered, older, composed, carrying a tray with tea and fruit. She set it down without a word, then turned to leave. Wait, Naya whispered. The woman paused. What happens to people who cross him? The woman's expression didn't change. Depends. On what? On whether they're useful. Then she left. Naya stared at the tea, untouched. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time felt broken. Finally, the door opened again. This time it was Kyung Min. He entered alone, no guards, no weapons visible, and closed the door behind him. The space suddenly felt smaller, more suffocating. He studied her for a long moment. You're afraid of me, he said quietly. Naya didn't deny it. Good, you should be. He crossed to the window, hands clasped behind his back. The recording's been analyzed. We traced 3 voices. One of them is dead, the other 2 are being questioned. Naya's throat tightened. She didn't ask how. But there's a problem, Kyung Min continued. The person who organized this isn't on the recording. They were smart, they used intermediaries. He turned to face her. Which means the threat is still active. Silence stretched between them. You saved my life tonight, he said. That creates a debt. I don't want anything. I wasn't finished. His voice cut through hers like a blade. It also creates a problem, because now you're a loose end, a witness, someone my enemies will hunt to silence. He stepped closer. So I'm giving you 2 options. Naya's pulse hammered. Option 1, I pay you, generously, you disappear. New identity, new city, new life, you'll be comfortable, but you'll never be safe. He paused. Option 2, you stay, you work for me under my protection, and you help me find the person who tried to kill me. His eyes bored into hers. Choose carefully, because once you decide there's no going back. Which prison would she choose, and what would it cost her soul? Naya's mind raced. Run and hide forever, or stay and become part of the world that terrified her. Neither option felt like freedom. But only one offered survival. If I stay, she said slowly, what exactly would I be doing? Kyung Min's expression remained unreadable. You'd be visible, seen, close to me at public events. Her stomach dropped. As what? Bait. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. My enemies think you're just a reckless waitress who made a scene, he continued. They don't know you have the recording, they don't know what you heard. He circled her slowly, not threatening but calculating. If they believe you're under my protection for personal reasons, they'll come after you to hurt me, and when they do, we'll catch them. Naya's hands clenched into fists. You want to use me as a trap. I want to keep you alive, he corrected. This way serves both our interests. And if your enemies succeed, they won't. The certainty in his voice should have been comforting. It wasn't. What about your fiancé? Naya asked. She looked ready to kill me tonight. Something flickered across Kyung Min's face, too fast to read. Yura is a political arrangement. She understands how this world works. Does she understand you're going to parade me around like someone I'm protecting? Yes. He stepped closer. Make no mistake, Miss Robinson, this isn't a romance. This is a strategy. You play your role, I play mine. And when this is over, you walk away with your life and enough money to start over properly. Naya searched his face for deception. Found only cold pragmatism. And if I refuse, then I'll put you on a plane tonight, give you a new name, and hope my enemies don't find you before you learn to disappear properly. He didn't say they were. He didn't have to. Naya closed her eyes, thought of her mother's medical bills, her younger brother's tuition, the life she'd been barely surviving before tonight. She'd always been invisible. Maybe it was time to be seen. I'll stay, she whispered. Kyung Min nodded once. Then we start now. 20 minutes later, Naya stood in front of a mirror, barely recognizing herself. The borrowed waitress uniform was gone. In its place, a black silk dress that fit like it had been made for her, subtle jewelry, hair styled, makeup applied by hands that worked with terrifying efficiency. She looked expensive. She looked dangerous. She looked like she belonged in Kyung Min's world. Perfect, said the woman who'd transformed her, the same one who'd brought tea earlier. He'll be pleased. I'm not trying to please him. The woman smiled faintly. Then you've already failed. Before Naya could respond, the door opened. Kyung Min entered, now dressed in a different suit, midnight blue, perfectly tailored. He assessed her with the same clinical detachment he'd shown earlier. You'll do. Not a compliment, a confirmation. There's a dinner in an hour, he continued. Private, 20 guests, all of them suspects. Naya's breath caught. You're taking me tonight. The faster we move, the faster we end this. He held out his arm. Stay close, speak only when spoken to, and whatever happens. His eyes met hers, dark, dangerous, unreadable. Don't let go of my hand. The car ride was silent. Naya sat beside Kyung Min in the back of a black sedan, Di-hyun driving. The city lights blurred past like distant stars. She tried not to think about what awaited her. A room full of criminals, any one of them a potential assassin. And she was walking in wearing a target on her back. Kyung Min's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, then made a call. Speak, he said curtly. A pause. His jaw tightened. When? Another pause. He ended the call without another word. Naya waited. There's been a complication, Kyung Min said quietly. What kind of complication? He turned to face her, and for the first time she saw something in his eyes that made her blood run cold. Genuine concern. Your apartment was broken into 30 minutes ago. Whoever did it wasn't looking for valuables. Naya's heart stopped. They were looking for you. And now the people hunting her knew exactly who she was, and who she loved. Naya couldn't breathe. My brother, she gasped. He's at university, he doesn't know. Already handled, Kyung Min interrupted. Di-hyun's people reached him 15 minutes ago. He's being moved to a secure location. Relief crashed through her, immediately followed by terror. They know who I am, they know my family. Yes. One word, no comfort in it. Which means running is no longer an option, he continued. They'll hunt everyone you've ever cared about until they find you. The car slowed, pulling up to a private residence, modern, elegant, surrounded by high walls and armed security. Naya's hands trembled. Kyung Min noticed. His hand covered hers briefly, not gentle but grounding. You wanted to save my life, he said quietly. Now I'm going to save yours, but you have to trust me. I don't even know you. Then learn quickly. The car stopped. Di-hyun opened the door. Kyung Min stepped out first, then extended his hand. Naya took it. The moment her feet touched the ground, she felt the weight of eyes on her. Guards, cameras, whoever was watching from inside. She'd crossed into another world entirely. Kyung Min kept her hand in his as they walked toward the entrance. His grip was firm, possessive even. Making a statement. She's mine, touch her and die. The message was clear. Whether it would be enough remained to be seen. The dinner was exactly as terrifying as she'd imagined. A long table, 20 guests, men and women dressed in designer everything, smiling with practiced ease, wealth and power disguised as civility. And beneath it all, the suffocating awareness that anyone here could be plotting murder. Kyung Min guided her to his side, pulling out her chair himself. The gesture looked chivalrous. It felt like a cage door closing. Conversations resumed, wine poured, appetizers served. Naya barely tasted anything. She was too busy watching. A woman across the table kept glancing at Kyung Min with barely concealed hunger. A man near the end checked his phone too frequently. Another spoke in low tones with his neighbor, eyes occasionally flicking toward Naya. Everyone was performing. Everyone was hiding something. "You're doing well," Kyung Min murmured, his lips barely moving. "I feel like I'm going to be sick." "Don't, it shows weakness." His hand found hers beneath the table, squeezed once. It should have felt manipulative, part of the act. Instead, it felt like the only real thing in the room. Midway through the main course, an older man stood, white-haired, distinguished, with eyes like polished stone. Kang Tae-sung, she'd heard whispers about him earlier, Kyung Min's former mentor, a legend in the organization. "A toast," Tae-sung announced, raising his glass, to Kyung Min and his unexpected guest. Polite laughter rippled around the table. "Tell me, my boy," Tae-sung continued, his smile not reaching his eyes, "where did you find such a charming companion? She doesn't seem like your usual type." The question dripped with hidden meaning. Kyung Min's expression remained neutral. "She found me, actually." "How romantic." Tae-sung's gaze shifted to Naya. "And what is it you do, my dear?" Every eye turned toward her. Naya's throat went dry. What was she supposed to say? "I'm the waitress who accidentally overheard your assassination plot." "She's under my protection," Kyung Min said smoothly. "That's all anyone needs to know." Tae-sung's smile sharpened. Protection, how curious. He sat down slowly, but his eyes never left Naya. And in that moment she knew. He was involved, maybe not the mastermind but connected, close enough to be dangerous. Close enough to have her killed before dessert. Kyung Min's hand tightened around hers beneath the table. "A warning. Stay calm, stay silent, stay alive." But as Tae-sung lifted his wine glass and smiled directly at her, one question burned through her mind. How do you survive dinner with the man who wants you dead, when he's sitting close enough to strike? Dessert arrived on silver trays. Delicate pastries, chocolate mousse, fresh berries glazed with gold leaf. Beautiful, elegant, potentially lethal. Naya stared at the plate in front of her, heart hammering. Across the table, Tae-sung ate leisurely, eyes flickering toward her every few seconds. Watching. Waiting. Kyung Min leaned closer, his voice barely audible. "Don't eat anything I haven't tasted first." He reached for her dessert fork, cut a small piece of the chocolate mousse and brought it to his lips. Chewed slowly. Nothing happened. He set the fork down and slid the plate toward her. "It's safe." But Naya couldn't move. Because she just watched every person at the table notice what Kyung Min had done. He'd revealed his hand. Shown them she mattered enough to protect. Tae-sung's expression flickered, just for a second, with something cold and calculating. "You coddle her," Tae-sung observed lightly. "One might think you've grown attached." "One might think I'm cautious," Kyung Min replied. "Cautious of what? Surely you don't suspect anyone here of ill intent." The room went still. It was a test, a challenge disguised as conversation. Kyung Min smiled, the kind of smile that made men confess before interrogation even began. "I suspect everyone, it's why I'm still alive." Tae-sung laughed, but it sounded hollow, wise though perhaps exhausting. Survival often is. The tension stretched like a wire about to snap. Then a phone rang. Di-hyun appeared in the doorway, his expression grim. He caught Kyung Min's eye and gave a subtle nod. Kyung Min stood smoothly. "Excuse me, business." He looked down at Naya. Every instinct screamed at her to beg him not to leave. But she forced herself to stay composed, nodded once. Kyung Min leaned down, his lips brushing her ear. "If anyone approaches you, scream." Then he was gone. And Naya was alone. The room felt different without him. Larger, colder. More dangerous. Conversations resumed, but they felt performative now. People smiled at her, too wide, too interested, like sharks circling prey. Naya kept her hands in her lap, willing herself invisible again. "It didn't work." "You must be very special," said a voice beside her. Naya turned. A woman had moved into Kyung Min's empty seat, mid-30s, beautiful in a severe way, diamonds at her throat. "I'm sorry," Naya managed. To make Jang Kyung Min behave like a lovesick fool, the woman sipped her wine. "In all the years I've known him, I've never seen him taste someone else's food. He's just being careful. He's being possessive." The woman's eyes glittered. "Do you have any idea what you've walked into?" Naya said nothing. "You're a message," the woman continued softly, "to everyone in this room, a declaration, and declarations in our world are written in blood." Before Naya could respond, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then the room plunged into darkness. Screams erupted, chairs scraped, glass shattered. Naya shot to her feet, heart racing, reaching for. A hand clamped over her mouth. Strong, unfamiliar. "Don't fight," a male voice hissed in her ear. "We're getting you out." Terror flooded her veins. "We're getting you out. Not I'm saving you. We. Plurals." She thrashed, tried to scream, but the hand tightened. Another set of hands grabbed her arms. They were dragging her backward. Away from the table. Away from safety. Toward the exit. Gunfire cracked through the darkness. The hands released her. Bodies hit the floor. Emergency lights flickered on, dim, red, casting everything in hellish shadow. Naya stumbled forward and collided with someone. Strong hands steadied her. She looked up. Kyung Min's. His expression was murderous. Behind him, two bodies lay motionless. Di-hyun stood over them, gun still raised. "Are you hurt?" Kyung Min demanded. Naya shook her head, too shocked to speak. He pulled her close, one arm around her waist, protective and fierce, and turned to face the room. "Whoever orchestrated this," he said, voice carrying through the chaos, "you just made your last mistake." His eyes found Taesung across the room. "Because now I know exactly who you are." But knowing the enemy and surviving them were two very different things, and the night was far from over. The emergency lights turned the dining room into a crime scene. Two bodies on the floor, the men who tried to take Naya, blood pooling beneath them, guests pressed against walls, some crying, others frozen in shock. And in the center of it all stood Kyung Min, still holding Naya like she might disappear if he let go. Taesung stepped forward, hands raised in a placating gesture. "Kyung Min, this is outrageous, an attack in my home." "Your home," Kyung Min interrupted, voice like ice. "Your security, your guest list." "You think I orchestrated this?" "I think someone here did." Taesung's expression hardened. "Careful, boy, accusations without proof are dangerous. So are failed assassinations." The two men stared at each other, decades of history compressed into a single moment. Teacher and student, mentor and successor. Or enemies who'd been pretending all along. Di-hyun moved closer to Kyung Min, weapon still drawn. "We should leave, now." Kyung Min didn't move. "Check their phones," he ordered. Di-hyun knelt beside one of the bodies, pulled out a phone and scrolled quickly. His expression darkened. "Encrypted messenger. Last message sent 12 minutes ago." He looked up. "Instructions to extract the girl. Eliminate anyone who interferes." "Sent from where?" Kyung Min demanded. Di-hyun tapped the screen, paused. "From inside this room." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Kyung Min's gaze swept across every face, calculating, ruthless. "Everyone stays until we identify the sender." "You have no authority here," Taesung said coldly. "I have 2 dead bodies and an attempted kidnapping. I have all the authority I need." Kyung Min finally released Naya, gently pushing her toward Di-hyun. "Get her out, take the north exit, wait in the car." "No," Naya said. Both men turned to look at her. "I'm not leaving you. This isn't a request. If I leave, they'll know I'm important, they'll try again." Her voice steadied despite the fear coursing through her. "But if I stay, if I act like I belong here, maybe they'll hesitate." Kyung Min studied her for a long moment. "You're learning," he said quietly. Then he turned back to the room. "Everyone, phones now." It took 30 minutes. 30 minutes of tension so thick Naya could barely breathe. Guests reluctantly surrendered their devices. Di-hyun and 2 other guards checked each one methodically. Naya stayed close to Kyung Min, hyper-aware of every movement around them. The woman who'd spoken to her earlier caught her eye, mouthed something. "Run." Naya's blood went cold. Finally, Di-hyun looked up, found it. "Silence." The message was sent from. He paused, glancing at Kyung Min. "Say it," Kyung Min ordered. From Seo Yura's phone. The room exploded. "That's impossible," someone shouted. "She's his fiancée. She wasn't even here tonight." Naya's mind raced. Yura, the woman whose engagement she destroyed, the woman who'd looked at her with pure hatred. It made sense. Too much sense. But Kyung Min didn't look surprised. He looked resigned. "Where is she?" he asked quietly. Di-hyun hesitated. "We've been trying to reach her for the past hour. She's not responding." "Find her." "Sir." "Find her now." Di-hyun nodded and left quickly, phone already to his ear. Ti-sung stepped forward, his earlier hostility replaced with something that looked like concern. "Kyung Min, if Yura is involved, this is bigger than a simple power play. Her family." "I know what her family is." "Then you know you can't just accuse her without." "I'm not accusing anyone yet," Kyung Min said coldly. "I'm gathering evidence." He turned to Naya. "We're leaving." This time she didn't argue. The car ride back was silent. Kyung Min stared out the window, jaw clenched, lost in thought. Naya wanted to ask 1,000 questions. Why did his fiancée want him dead? What was he going to do when he found her? And most terrifying of all, if Yura was willing to kill him, what would she do to the woman who'd taken her place? Finally, Kyung Min spoke. "You should know something," he said quietly, still not looking at her. "Yura and I, the engagement was arranged when we were children. Political alliance, business merger." "You don't love her." "No." He turned then, his dark eyes meeting hers. "But she loves me obsessively." Naya's breath caught. "Which makes her far more dangerous than any rival in the organization." His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his expression went completely blank. "What?" Naya whispered. Kyung Min showed her the screen. A message, no sender. Just a photo of Naya's brother. And a single line of text. "Trade the girl for the boy. Midnight, come alone or he dies." Naya's world collapsed into a single image. Her brother bound to a chair, tape across his mouth, eyes wide with terror. Alive. But for how long? "No," she breathed. "No, you said your people got to him." "They did." Kyung Min's voice was razor-sharp. "Which means someone inside my organization gave him up." The betrayal cut deeper than any threat. Naya grabbed his arm. "We have to go, we have to." "It's a trap." "I don't care." "You should." His eyes bored into hers. "The moment I show up alone, we both die. They'll kill him anyway, then come for you." "Then what do we do?" Her voice cracked. "He's 19 years old, he has nothing to do with this." "He has everything to do with this now." Kyung Min's jaw tightened. "Because they know he's the only leverage that works on you." Naya's hands shook. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think past the image of her brother, terrified, helpless, paying for her choices. Kyung Min made a call. Di-hyun, the safe house was compromised. Find out who had access. Yes, all of them. No, we have 3 hours. He ended the call. "Where's the exchange?" Naya demanded. "The old shipyard, South Harbor." "You know it." "Intimately, it's where I handle problems that need to disappear." The implication made her stomach turn. "They chose it deliberately," he continued. "Isolated, no witnesses, multiple exit points, designed for executions." "Then we can't go." "We have to go, but not the way they expect." Kyung Min leaned forward, speaking to the driver. "Take us to the armory." The armory was underneath a legitimate shipping company. Concrete walls, steel doors, enough weapons to start a small war. Naya stood frozen as Kyung Min moved through the space with practiced efficiency, selecting guns, checking ammunition, strapping on body armor like he was getting dressed for work. Because for him this was work. "Have you ever fired a weapon?" he asked without looking at her. "No." "Then you stay in the car with Hyun." "Like hell I do." He turned. "This isn't negotiable." "Neither is my brother's life." Naya stepped closer. "They want me. If I don't show up, they'll know something's wrong. They'll kill him before you get close. If you show up, they'll kill you both. Then make sure they don't." The words came out stronger than she felt. Kyung Min studied her for a long moment. Something shifted in his expression, not softening but respect, grim and reluctant. "If I do this," he said quietly, "you follow every order I give. No questions, no hesitation, understood?" Naya nodded. He reached behind her, pulled a vest from the wall and held it up. "Arms up." She raised her arms. He fitted the vest around her torso, adjusting straps, his hands impersonal and efficient, but when his fingers brushed her collarbone, they both froze. "Just for a second." "This will stop a bullet to the chest," he said, voice rougher. "It won't stop a headshot, so when I tell you to get down, you get down." "Okay." He handed her a small pistol. "Safety's here, point, squeeze, only if you have no other choice." The weight of it felt wrong in her hand, like holding death itself. "Kyung Min," she whispered, "why are you doing this?" "Doing what?" "Risking everything, your organization, your position, for people you barely know." His expression was unreadable. "You saved my life," he said finally. "That creates a debt I don't take lightly. And after the debt is paid." He stepped closer, close enough that she could see the exhaustion behind his controlled exterior, the weight of a life built on violence and loyalty and impossible choices. "Then you disappear," he said softly, "and you never look back." Before she could respond, Hyun entered. "We have a problem," he said. "The message didn't just go to you, it went to Yura too." Kyung Min's expression darkened. "What did it say?" "If you want him back, bring the girl. Midnight, alone." Naya's blood turned to ice. "She thinks they have me," Kyung Min said slowly. "She thinks this is her chance to save me." "Or kill the woman she blames for ruining her life," Hyun added grimly. Kyung Min was silent for 3 long seconds. Then, change of plans. "We're not just walking into one trap tonight." He looked at Naya. "We're walking into 3. Because when 3 enemies converge on the same killing ground, who decides who lives and who dies?" Midnight came too fast. The shipyard loomed against the dark sky, rusted containers stacked like gravestones, cranes towering overhead like mechanical vultures. The smell of salt and oil hung thick in the air. Abandoned, isolated. Perfect for murder. Naya sat in the back seat of the car, vest tight around her chest, gun heavy in her pocket. Hyun was in the driver's seat, 4 more men in 2 vehicles behind them. And somewhere in the darkness ahead, her brother was waiting. Maybe already dead. The thought made her want to vomit. 2 minutes, Hyun said quietly. "Positions." The men dispersed like shadows, some climbing containers for vantage points, others melting into the maze of metal and machinery. Only Naya and Kyung Min remained visible. Walking forward, together. "Bait and protector." "Remember," Kyung Min murmured, hand resting lightly on the small of her back. "When it starts, you run toward the blue container. Northeast, don't stop, don't look back." "What about you?" "I'll handle it." "That's not an answer." His hand tightened briefly. "It's the only one you're getting." They reached the center of the clearing. A single light flickered overhead, dying bulb casting sick yellow across broken concrete. "They're here," Kyung Min said softly. Figures emerged from the darkness. 6 men armed, faces covered. And between them, Marcus, Naya's brother, still bound, but alive, breathing. "Naya, run," he screamed through the tape. One of the men hit him. Marcus's head snapped to the side. Rage flooded through her. She lunged forward. Kyung Min's arm stopped her. Not yet. A seventh figure stepped into the light. Older, familiar. Kang Tae-sung. I'm disappointed, Kyung Min, Tae-sung said pleasantly. I told you to come alone. And I told you I don't follow orders anymore. Tae-sung smiled. No, you make them now, built an empire on my foundation, my teachings, my mercy. Your weakness, Kyung Min corrected. You had power and squandered it playing politician. While you played king, Tae-sung's expression hardened, but kings need heirs, and yours will never come from that frigid arrangement with the Seo family. Naya's mind raced. This wasn't just about power. This was personal. So you decided to kill me? Kyung Min asked calmly. I decided to remind you of your place. Tae-sung gestured toward Marcus, starting with taking away the things you protect. He's not yours, please. Tae-sung looked at Naya with something like pity. He's had men guarding you for 3 days, moved your family, given you access most of his people will never have. You think that's just debt? Naya's breath caught. Kyung Min's expression remained neutral, but she felt him tense beside her. Let the boy go, Kyung Min said. Your quarrel is with me. My quarrel is with the empire you stole. Tae-sung raised his hand. Guns lifted in unison. And now I'm taking it back. Everything happened at once. Gunfire erupted from the containers, Dae-hyun's men opening fire. Tae-sung's people returned fire. Kyung Min shoved Naya hard. Run. She stumbled, turned, and saw headlights. A car screaming into the shipyard from the opposite direction. It skidded to a stop. The door flew open. Seo Yura stepped out. Gun in hand, her beautiful face twisted with fury. She raised the weapon. Not at Tae-sung. Not at his men. At Naya. You took everything from me, Yura screamed over the chaos. Everything. Time slowed. Naya saw the finger tighten on the trigger. Saw Kyung Min's eyes widen. Saw him move. Too far away. Too slow. The gun fired. But the bullet never reached Naya. Because Marcus, still bound, still helpless, threw himself forward. Took the shot meant for his sister. And collapsed. Naya's scream tore through the night. Maus. She ran toward him, everything else forgotten. The bullets, the danger, the war erupting around her. Nothing mattered except reaching him. She dropped to her knees, hands frantically searching for the wound. Blood, so much blood. No. Kyung Min was there suddenly, pulling her back. We have to move. I'm not Leavianghim. Then you'll die too. A bullet struck the ground inches from them. Kyung Min cursed, returned fire, then lifted Marcus with terrifying ease, injured boy and all, and ran. Dae-hyun appeared, grabbing Naya. Move. They ran through chaos. Bullets pinged off metal, men screamed, vehicles exploded. Behind them, Yura's voice echoed. You can't protect them both. Choose, Kyung Min, choose. They reached the car. Kyung Min laid Marcus across the back seat. Naya climbed in after him, pressing her hands against the wound in his shoulder. Stay with me, she sobbed. Marcus, stay with me. Marcus's eyes fluttered open, blood flecked his lips. Worth it, he whispered. You're worth it. Then his eyes closed. Dae-hyun floored the accelerator. As they screamed away from the shipyard, Naya looked back. Saw Yura standing in the flickering light, gun still raised, tears streaming down her face. Saw Tae-sung's men retreating. Saw Kyung Min in the front seat, blood on his sleeve, phone already to his ear arranging a surgeon. And realized with terrible clarity. This wasn't over, this was only the beginning, and now everyone she loved was a target, including the man she'd never meant to save. The surgeon worked for 4 hours. Naya sat in the waiting room of Kyung Min's private medical facility, a sterile space hidden inside a legitimate hospital, where questions weren't asked and records didn't exist. Blood still stained her hands. Her brother's blood. She couldn't stop shaking. Kyung Min sat beside her, silent, present, his suit jacket draped over her shoulders sometime during the second hour when she'd started trembling uncontrollably. He hadn't left. Even when Hyun came with urgent reports, even when his phone rang 6 times with calls that would normally demand immediate attention. He stayed. Finally, the surgeon emerged, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes and steady hands. "He'll live," she said. "The bullet missed the major arteries. He's young, strong, lucky." Naya's legs gave out. Kyung Min caught her before she hit the floor. "Can I see him?" she whispered. "He's sedated, but yes." Marcus looked impossibly small in the hospital bed. Tubes and monitors surrounded him like mechanical guards. His shoulder was bandaged, his face pale but peaceful. "Alive." Naya sank into the chair beside him, took his hand gently. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." Behind her, Kyung Min stood in the doorway, watching. "He jumped in front of a bullet for you," he said quietly. "I know. Most people would call that foolish. He's my little brother, it's what we do." Silence stretched between them. "My brother died protecting me," Kyung Min said finally. 10 years ago, I was 22, reckless, thought I was untouchable." Naya turned to look at him. His expression was distant, haunted. "Someone put a price on my head. Jinho threw himself between me and the shooter, didn't hesitate." His jaw tightened. "I built everything I have on top of his grave, every decision, every ruthless choice, because I swore I'd never let someone die for me again." "But you let me save you," Naya whispered. "You didn't give me a choice. And now my brother almost died because of it." Kyung Min stepped into the room, closer. "Your brother almost died because the world I live in destroys everything good that touches it, which is why." He paused. "Why you should take him and leave. Tonight I'll give you new identities, money, protection until you're far enough away that my enemies lose interest." Naya's heart lurched. "You're sending me away. I'm setting you free. What about Taesung, Yura? They'll keep looking." "I'll handle them." "How?" His expression turned cold, final. "The way I handle all threats to what's mine." The words hung between them. "What's mine? Not what I protect. Mine." Naya stood slowly, still holding Marcus's hand, but her eyes locked on Kyung Min's. "And if I don't want to leave? Then you're a fool." "Maybe I am," she stepped closer. "But I'm the fool who saved your life, who walked into your world knowing it could kill me, who watched my brother take a bullet because of choices I made." She was close enough now to see the exhaustion etched in his face, the control fracturing at the edges. "You said this was business," she continued softly, "a strategy, that I'd walk away when it was over." "You should. Then why haven't you let go of my hand?" Kyung Min looked down. His fingers were intertwined with hers, had been since he'd caught her in the waiting room. Neither of them had noticed. "Naya," his voice was rough, warning and plea at once. "I don't want your money," she said. "I don't want to run, I want." The door burst open. Hyun, face grim. "Sir, we have a situation." Kyung Min's expression shuttered immediately, business mode. "What kind?" Yura turned herself in, to the police. Naya's breath caught. "She confessed everything," Hyun continued. "The assassination attempt, the kidnapping, named names including yours." Silence. "How long do we have?" Kyung Min asked calmly. "Warrants are being issued now, maybe 3 hours before they move on your properties." Kyung Min was already moving toward the door. "Lock down all operations, burn anything sensitive, move the liquidity offshore." Kyung Min, Naya interrupted. He turned. "You ask me to choose," she said. "Run or stay, I'm choosing." "Naya, now is not." "I'm staying." The words landed like a verdict. Kyung Min stared at her. Something fierce and desperate flickered across his face. "Then God help us both," he said quietly. He looked at Hyun, put her brother in protective custody, real protection this time, and her. Stays with me, Naya finished. That's not. You wanted me visible, close, playing a role. She lifted her chin. So let's play it all the way. Kyung Min's jaw clenched. Then impossibly he smiled, dark and dangerous. You're going to get us both killed. Probably. He held out his hand. Then let's make it worth it. Naya took his hand. And as they walked out together, toward whatever war was waiting, she realized something terrifying. She'd stopped pretending this was just survival. This was a choice, and she'd just chosen the most dangerous man in the city, knowing full well it might cost her everything. To be continued.